Picture this. It's 5 a.m. Your alarm rings. You know you should get up, but that little voice whispers, just 5 more minutes. Or maybe you're staring at a blank page, knowing you need to work on your dreams. But then that same voice says, do it tomorrow, relax today. Now, think about this. If you keep listening to that voice, where will you be in 5 years? Still stuck, still waiting, still negotiating with your weakness. But what if I told you there's a single rule that can silence that voice forever? A rule that can make you so mentally unstoppable that obstacles no longer scare you, excuses no longer control you, and your goals no longer stay on a vision board. They actually happen. That's what we're talking about today. The one rule that separates the average from the extraordinary. And once you master it, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Why most people stay mentally weak? Let's be real. Most people don't fail because they aren't smart or talented. They fail because of one thing. They negotiate with their weakness. They negotiate with comfort. I'll start tomorrow. They negotiate with fear. I don't want to embarrass myself. They negotiate with doubt. What if I'm not good enough? The truth? Weakness always is excuses. And if you argue with it, you lose. Think of it this way. If life is a battle, weakness is the enemy inside your own mind. You don't beat an enemy by inviting it to dinner. You beat it by refusing to listen. The one rule revealed. Here it is. The one rule that will make you mentally unstoppable. Never negotiate with weakness. Weakness says, it's too cold to run. You answer, I don't negotiate. I run. Weakness says, skip the gym just this once. You answer, no deal. I don't negotiate. Weakness says, stay comfortable, stay safe. You answer, comfort is a trap. I don't negotiate. This rule is brutal, but it's also freeing. Because once you stop debating with your weakness, life becomes simpler. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And you start saying, I do it anyway. That's mental freedom. That's discipline. That's power. Stories that prove the rule. Let's look at some real-life warriors who live by this rule. David Goggins. He ran 100 miles in under 24 hours with broken feet, vomiting blood, and his body screaming at him to quit. Imagine if he had negotiated. Well, maybe I can stop. Maybe this is too much. No, he didn't even allow that thought a seat at the table. That's why he's called the toughest man alive. J.K. Rowling. She faced 12 rejections for Harry Potter. Every publisher said no. Imagine if she negotiated. Maybe they're right. Maybe I should stop. But she didn't. She lived by the rule. And today, her books have sold over 500 million copies. Edison, over 1,000 failed experiments before inventing the light bulb. Do you think he negotiated with failure? If he had, we'd still be living in the dark. Your own life. Think about moments where you pushed through. Maybe an exam you thought you'd fail. Maybe a job you weren't ready for. The times you refused to negotiate. That's when you grew. That's when you discovered strength you didn't know you had. How to apply the rule daily. So, how do you actually live by this rule? Here's a step-by-step blueprint. Recognize the voice. Weakness is sneaky. It disguises itself as logic. You've worked hard, take a break. You deserve this. Tomorrow will be better. The moment you hear it call out, that's weakness. Build automatic responses. Stop thinking. Build defaults. Don't want to work out? Default equals at least 15 minutes of movement. Don't feel like studying? Default equals read 5 pages. Don't want to work on your dream? Default equals just 10 minutes of effort. Once you start, you usually do more. Reframe pain as proof. Instead of saying, this is hard, say, this is proof I'm alive. Proof I'm growing. Set non-negotiables. Pick 3 habits you will never break. Example, wake up at the same time daily. Do some form of exercise every day. Spend 30 minutes daily on your biggest goal. These build an identity that weakness cannot touch. Visualize the cost of negotiation. Before giving in, picture your future 5 years from now. If you keep saying yes to weakness, empty bank account, broken dreams, regret, then picture your future if you follow the rule. Fulfillment, power, legacy. Choose wisely. Becoming truly unstoppable. Now, let's be honest. Will it be easy? No. Will you fail sometimes? Yes. But here's the secret. Even failure becomes fuel when you don't negotiate. Because every time you refuse weakness, you get stronger, and strength compounds. Day by day, you become someone people can't figure out. Someone who doesn't quit. Someone who keeps going when everyone else has stopped. That's what it means to be mentally unstoppable. Not that you never fall, but that weakness never wins the final vote. So here's the truth. Weakness will never go away. It will always whisper, always tempt, always bargain. But from today, I want you to draw a line in the sand. No more deals. No more just this once. No more negotiating with the very thing that's been holding you back. Your rule is simple. I don't negotiate with weakness. I show up anyway. Do this, and you'll shock yourself with how far you can go. Do this, and you'll stop living in excuses and start living in results. Do this, and you'll become unstoppable. Because the only person who can beat you is you. And once you stop negotiating with your weakness, even you can't stop you anymore. So ask yourself right now, will you keep letting weakness decide your future? Or will you rise above it and live unstoppable? The choice is yours.